Okay, we're live. Hi, this is Jasmine.
Hi.
I'm the owner of Bloom by Jasmine, and today we have a guest. Her name is Jay Williams. She's the owner of Vanzini Art Studio. So she's gonna introduce herself so she can talk about her business and herself. I'll let her go ahead and speak.
Hi, guys. Welcome to our Babble. Welcome. Come in. Get a snack, have a seat, get something to drink because it's going to be a
Yes.
little piping today. But yes, I am the artist, owner, and heart behind Vancini Art Studio. Just like Bloom by Jasmine, I also am a resin artist, mixed media artist. I'm trying to dabble into other mediums of art, but as you can see behind me, I specialize in resin geode art. So I've been doing that for a while, and of course, I am a Black woman-owned business located in Dallas, Texas. So super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy. I had to make her, y'all. So I had to make her do this. We're starting new, fresh beginnings.
Yes.
I know we both don't really go live often,
Mm-mm-mm.
so we have to start showing our face. Because I feel like people probably just think we're hands at this point. Like we're just hands, like recording ourselves when we
Somebody's
do
holding the camera during the reel. It's someone's
like
there, I swear.
both. So I'll be looking down because I'm painting. She's
Yes.
also working on a canvas too, so she'll be like looking down
Likewise.
momentarily. But yeah, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna start with like a truths and a lie. So I did this when I first my first live. So I'm gonna have Jay. She's gonna be doing two truths and a lie. So I'm gonna give her 2 minutes to think up some things.
Oh,
So you
okay.
have to give two truths and a lie, and then the guest or viewers are going to guess which one is the lie. I think most of them guessed what my lie was kind of instantly, so I'm not really good at it.
Oh man.
So
And I am horrible at lying. I suck at it.
you have to be, yeah, you have to be a good liar for you it to pass. Because I'm just like, okay, don't look at me because if you look at me, you're gonna see I'm
It's
lying.
gonna be a
So
giveaway, yeah.
it's gonna be like some music. Just kidding. Like, din, din, din. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a few minutes. Let me open up another tab here because I want to see.
I can't even I'm trying to literally sit here and try to
Ancient
think.
High. You see, it's hard.
I don't
It's
even know.
really
Like
hard.
I'm trying to seriously think of something.
Let me mute this. Okay, cool. So I can see. Okay. So let me know when you're ready.
Two truths and
You
a
got
lie.
this. Sometimes the live ones are like easy. Like it's something that people probably guess about or think about you that you it's not really true.
Oh man, I don't even want to know. Let's see. Okay. Two truths and a lie. Alrighty, let's see. Or two
You
lies and a
ready?
truth, or two truths and a lie. Okay, got it.
Two
See?
so
Messing
two
it up
things that are
already.
true about you and one thing that's a lie. She said, "Look, I was about to give you like
Look,
three lies."
messing it up already.
Okay, so when you do it, don't like don't be like, "This is the truth. This is the this is the lie." Just say the three statements. I feel like I should preface that. So go
Uh,
ahead and give like the three statements, and then we're gonna guess. Okay, we're
okay.
ready.
One, my native language is Spanish. Two, mm, 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 two, my favorite color is green.
Okay.
Three, I have gone scuba diving.
Hmm. Okay. So
Very
let's.
random, right? Like that is so horrible. Don't ever
No,
use me.
those were good. Those were good statements. Okay. Should I guess or should I wait? Let me wait and let's see if we can have some people guess. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for logging on.
Yo, welcome. I'm excited.
Okay,
I'm
let's
hoping
see.
what I have in my head translates on this canvas. I don't.
The
I'm
way that
hoping
works, like I had an image.
it's
Okay,
hit or
so
miss.
Let's see. Savage Survivor says um, green's not her favorite. Okay, so
Okay.
they think that the color green is the lie. Let's see what anyone else says. I think honestly, I think the green is not your favorite is also a lie.
Okay.
That's what
Ten
I
four.
think.
Got it. Noted. Noted.
Noted.
Noted.
Okay, wait. Let's see if there's anyone else that has a comment. Sorry for typos. It's okay. I got the gist. Let's see. Anyone else? And then Dion Myers says, green is the lie. It took too long for you to answer. And
You
then
real suspicious right now. You real suspicious
look,
right now.
you're suspicious. They were waiting. So then the father fan says, first one is true, the other two are lies. Um, Lisa says the lie is Spanish is not your native language.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very
Let's see.
interesting.
Okay. So that was my little music so you can reveal.
Oh, you could have told me I could put something on.
Okay, go ahead. What is the actual lie?
The actual lie is that I have never snorkeled before. I've never gone snorkeling ever.
Why do you look like the type of person that has done that? Like,
I know how to
oh,
swim. I'm the only one in the
okay.
family that knows how to swim, but I have never
Mhm.
been as bold as to try that. Because no, that's too deep.
Because no.
It's a pinch too deep and a pinch too far from the shoreline.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that means that Spanish is your native language,
yes.
and your favorite color is actually green.
Yep, it's one of them. I have like 5, of course, naturally.
Hi, Patrice, and hello, Platinum Lifestyle Coach. Okay, so now that we've gotten to know her a little bit, so our topic today is Black women and resin art. And I don't know, for me, I feel like I try not to talk about a lot of like, I guess we
Yeah.
can call it political things, because
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of feel like as artists, we're just kind of expected to just create and be quiet. So I try not to like put those things hand in hand.
Yeah.
But lately, I've just seen a lot of things, and I'm like, I'm just gonna
Mm.
say something. And we've talked about this before, so that's why I waited for you to be ready to get on this show. So I was like, we're about to chat.
We're
So,
about to talk, honey. We're about to talk.
what do you think about just the topic of Black women in resin art? Like, what do you think about the most difficult thing of being a Black woman in, I guess, in the art field, period?
Mm. It kind of feels like just being a woman in general, but yeah.
Right.
And then sprinkling it on top, being a Black woman, it is. I kind of feel like it's something that we have to work 100 times harder at. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like
Yep.
if even though we've been blessed and gifted with a gift of creation and expression and art in that aspect,
Right.
I kind of feel, I don't know, I kind of feel like we have to kind of prove a little bit more.
That's
Does that make
true.
sense?
Yeah. I think it's like already difficult, like being a woman in society, like that's already a difficult thing. So it's like being Black as well, or Afro Latina, like you also have to, like you have to run 2 races.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I never sat down and thought about like, oh my gosh, maybe I should do this to get ahead, or like maybe I should try to like intentionally do this so I'm like better than my peers. You know what I mean? It's just
Mm-hmm.
something you naturally do. So when you pair that in the art field, it's just like we see the results of that struggle, like,
Yeah.
and I feel like you're probably the person to talk to about like the struggle, especially with like your Facebook algorithm is
Gosh, it's been
insane, but
driving me nuts for months now, months, and all because I commented on one of my friends. I actually know this girl. Like I know her. She's not just some Facebook stranger. Like this girl stayed in my apartment and visited me,
oh my
and like I
god,
know this
yeah,
girl.
like I know
You
you
know
know
what I
you.
mean? Back in the day, so it's just like, oh my gosh, it completely just messed everything up and it's having to start completely over, which has been very stressful. In addition to everything else that we obviously struggle with already, the market for resin has saturated itself so much. I feel maybe like in the last even year,
Yeah.
because I feel like we've been doing this like forever. It feels like
It
at
feels
least it
like
feels like
forever,
it.
right?
Um, so I kind of feel like we're kind of like OGs in this, but then at the same time, it's like because of
Or
the
not.
certain challenges that we do face, people don't really know that. Like they think, oh,
Right.
did you just start? It's like, girl, no, I've been doing this
I've been doing this for a minute.
since like a long time now. You know what I mean? It's been a minute. You
That's
know,
so true.
it
That's
just
so
kind of
true.
sucks that we kind of have to deal with this specific undiscussed type of race per se.
It's not,
It's a
yeah,
it's a
it's
rat race for everybody, but it's for us. It's just a little bit different. If that makes sense, I hope that does.
now, like speaking about, like people kind of like, oh, you do resin art, like just kind of realizing it,
Mm-hmm.
um, super late or not even acknowledging like the journey you went through. Like, oh, you do resin art too? Do you make
Be like,
keychains? Like that kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
I feel like first of all, I had not
First
when
of
I
all,
started, I did not even I didn't see any black resin artists. The
no.
first black resin artist I seen was yours. And
Oh,
that was in one of the groups.
hey.
Because girl, I screenshotted your stuff and I was like, oh my God, she does resin. So I was like, and that's when I was just starting. So I was still like not making anything serious, just kind of like experimenting.
Experimenting. Yep.
Exactly. So I'm just like, yeah, I screenshotted your stuff and then, I was like, I'm
Oh.
following her everywhere. Like, but the thing is like when you're on YouTube, especially when you're starting, and now I think YouTube has kind of like grown and there are more art like black artists and resident artists that are like
Mm-hmm.
making videos. But 2 years ago, honest, it was all white artists. That's all I
Yes.
see. So like coming from that aspect and then seeing like the first black resin artist, I was like, oh my gosh, so this is what I was kind of like looking up to.
Yes.
And I think that's honestly really sad though, is
Yeah.
that there was no one, and I think there still is not anyone that is at the level of some of the bigger artists.
Right.
And I googled popular resin artists today because I was trying to see like what Google kind of labeled as the
Uh-huh.
big ones, and they
Right.
were all white, top five.
Girl.
And
Mm-mm.
I'm looking at their work, and I'm not downplaying their work. I'm not, saying
And
they
it's
didn't
never
do.
that. It's never
It's
that.
never that,
Never.
but it was just like I was amazed at the difference in aesthetics, the difference in art styles, and there were no black artists anywhere on there.
Nope.
Um,
Nowhere.
so that was really like, I don't know, that was really, I guess, mind-boggling to see that.
It's kind of a little frustrating. Um,
Hmm.
because and I follow this hashtag on Instagram because Instagram is
That's your
kind of
baby.
my platform. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of where, thankfully after posting for so much, I've finally been able to grow that out, which has been great.
Yes.
However, I do follow that hashtag Black Resin Artist.
Okay.
And I mean, even within the course of even just maybe the couple of months that I've been following it, it only had maybe like 1,000 hashtags. And I'm like,
Wow.
1,000 hashtags. But then if you look up like the resin hashtag
Hmm.
itself, there's hundreds of thousands of different people and users who are using that. And I don't know, that just kind of hit me kind of in
Because that
a
means that either, well, one, we don't think to use that kind of hashtag because we know either it's not going to expand the
mm-hmm,
content throughout Instagram, or if
or
we
even
use it, it's
looked
just
at.
like, what's the point?
Right, right. And that's just kind of that's sad to me. I don't really like that at all. I'm hoping that that can change, and I'm hoping that a lot of these companies, because I used to do makeup a long time ago. I still
I
love to do makeup
know,
even
yeah.
now, but that's where a bit of my background comes from is doing makeup. So I understand the world of content, creating content for social
Hmm.
media. So I get it. I've worked with companies, et cetera, all of that good stuff. So I know that they want a certain aesthetic. I know they want a certain
Right.
gist, all of that good stuff. But however, they also seek diversity. You know what I mean? And I feel that a lot of these companies, these resin companies don't. seek that. It's like they don't want that
It's
almost.
no longer a priority.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they don't really care that, I don't care that you're an exceptional artist. I don't care that you have this many followers. I don't care that your engagement numbers are this, that. You can even bring them the moon, wash the car, walk the dog, do the laundry, do all that for them. And it doesn't matter to them because you're not necessarily what they typically post, if that makes
Right.
sense. You're just not the aesthetic that they typically use. And I just think that that's not,
A
I don't
lot
think
of
that's
companies are
right.
like that. A
I just
lot
don't
of them.
think that that's right. So,
We do have a question too.
yes.
Let's see. Where do you both get your inspiration from? Um, for
Hmm.
me, honestly, I feel like most of my inspiration comes from other artists. So like I'll see other artists' work, and that inspires me to do something myself or like to push me, motivate me to get up. A lot of inspiration sometimes can come from just honestly like scrolling on TikTok. Like some of the things that we do that kind of just like help us like spend some time. Like those things sometimes get me inspiration. I mean, other artists, bigger artists, older artists, like that kind of thing. What about you?
That's good. Definitely other artists, it's great to see that. As a community, we should definitely be looking to one another for inspiration and not so much competition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, of course, other artists are definitely an inspiration for me. Um, but also just it literally sometimes it's just in my head. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
sometimes I have to get it out on canvas, and I'm very meticulous when it comes to my work. You of everybody knows
Yes.
this. You get all my messages and all of that. Double checking it. Am I tripping on this, or does that look okay,
Yes,
or
you are tripping.
am I making sense? Like, does that look? You know what I mean? So, um, definitely, it's something that is in the head, to try to get out. But of course, also the community of other artists. That's why it's so important for us to be a unit, because you
Yes,
definitely inspire and help other artists. Like I said, it's not a competition or anything like that. It's literally for inspiration purposes and shoot, just to help other artists who are in similar steps as you and in similar places as you to be able to get through this rat race. It's an interesting
it is a rat
adventure.
race. Like that's the perfect terminology for this. It is a rat race. Jasmine was the first Black resident artist, and I was so excited for the representation. Thank you. Um, well, thank you, guys. So back to our topic. Do you feel like you have to prove yourself almost, or like justify your work as a Black resin artist?
um yes and no. um um no, in the sense that I am confident in what I am doing. I know that I was called to do this. This
Mm-hmm.
is my purpose. And I walk very confidently in it. However, the human side of me, the woman side, the one with emotions and feelings, the human side, does sometimes feel, the pressures of, man, like, why is it that that specific, artist is able to achieve this, but I haven't gotten here? I'm
Right.
very hard on myself when it comes to certain things, especially with my business, because I am very passionate about it. I pour a lot of myself, literally pour a lot of myself,
Literally poor.
literally, you know, into this, and I sacrifice a lot for it, and that's not saying, or saying that nobody else has,
Right.
that or anything like that. I never
Mm-hmm.
take away from anybody else's hustle, pains, anything, journey, none of that. I never take away from any of that. But yeah, definitely do sometimes feel pressure on myself to try to be better and get to where I know that I can be at. You know what I mean?
I love that. I like that like this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
there's
sure.
confidence because I feel like that confidence kind of seeps out in your work too. Like when you know you're supposed to be doing this, you post something, you're like, of
Yes.
course, I know this is good, but like I'm showing you guys to let you
Okay,
guys
I'm just
know.
letting y'all know.
Jasmine taught my classes, but even prior to that, I was a fan of her work. Jazz turned me into Jay. Oh yeah, I did. I turned you into Jay, whom I follow her as well, and find them both to be amazing artists. One day to be on their level. Thank you.
Hey, look
Yes,
at you.
I'm always like, I'm like, oh yeah, Jay makes this. She makes this.
I'm
She makes
always
those
like, I
powders.
know, but Jasmine does that. But see,
So
that's the thing, though. That's awesome that that network is
I love
there.
that.
And again, it's not a competition amongst ourselves. And I think that a lot of,
Hmm.
and I hate to say this, but I feel like the Black community in general always puts this weird competition amongst each
I
other
know.
for some weird reason. I don't know why. It's like we should not be in competition with ourselves. Like everybody else should be trying to sit at our table. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
there's so
y'all
little of
sit with
us.
us.
Like there's so little Black resin artists that it shouldn't even get to that point where we're competing.
Nope.
Like
And it
there's so
doesn't.
little of us that we could be like dominating this. You know what I mean? Because there are a lot. I think. Or
Yeah.
actually, no, I'm gonna change that. There are a few resin artists that I feel are confident in their work, and actually do good work, and are still learning.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we're competing against each other and there are really good people, like we're hurting ourselves,
Yes.
um, hurting
Yes.
ourselves, hurting our craft, hurting our business.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hard. It's hard. I think the social media platforms kind of add to that too, though. Like they
Yeah.
make it so that okay, if this person's going viral, I'm assuming her work is top notch, but this person's not, so maybe they're not as great. So then it kind of creates that competitive state, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's a very fierce environment.
Yes.
I hate to say it like this, but it's not for the weak, if that makes sense. It's really not.
It's not.
And it's not to say that you can't get there, and it's not to say that everybody's a weak person. I don't mean it in that aspect, but it is
Mhm.
very vicious. It's a vicious industry to try to, well, not industry, but a very vicious type of thing to get into. Using social media as a platform for your business, it's hard. You know what I mean? And again, just touching base on the topic today. I mean, and even more so when you're a black artist, it is, and especially with this type of art and how overly saturated it is. Definitely have noticed that for sure, for sure, for sure.
Let's see. And this question for Jasmine: how do you balance being a wife, mother, and artist? She is also so okay. We're gonna do a little side note. Her name is
Oh,
also Jasmine.
yeah.
So she's also a wife, mom, and artist. So she can answer this question too. But for me, it's still tough. Like sometimes I feel like I am not giving my all in each. But honestly speaking, you can't really like give 100% everywhere. You can try, and that's what is
Yeah,
important. But like you're gonna wear yourself out. There have been
yeah,
plenty days when my husband has told me like, okay, you're not working tonight. Like he has to tell me not to work,
yeah,
or my
yeah,
best friend is calling me telling me you better not be working right now. So there's plenty of times when I have to be forced to sit down. But honestly, I think sometimes I'll involve my kids in not necessarily resin, but creating, because then it gives me an excuse to create while they're creating.
oh,
I think for the most part, you just kind of have to have a supportive family,
yeah,
um, that understands that although your business is important, they're more important, and just kind of like using that to level each other out. What do you think? How do you feel about balancing being a wife, mother, and artist?
um, yeah. It is definitely very hard. Because I, of course, I have my art business, and then of course, I work full time in addition to
Mm-hmm.
being a wife, a mother, and I'm studying for a state
Oof.
license test to get my real estate license. So it's very
Oh my
hard.
god.
um,
So many
yeah,
that you're juggling.
yes, I know it's very hard, and like you said, um, you can't give 100% to everything, and sometimes I do feel guilty sometimes about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is absolutely imperative and crucial that you have the support and a team of supportive people in your corner that understand that. Like I have friends who I haven't talked to in a little bit, but because they know that I'm hustling and get things done. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
always be on the phone 24/7 doing something because I'm focused on this pool or
Right.
doing this or doing that. Um, so I know if it wasn't for my husband supporting and being as supportive, as he is, I probably wouldn't be able to do as much as what I do now.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely a team that can support your vision and your dreams is definitely crucial. And you're gonna lose lots of sleep. Lots of
That's
sleep.
the truth. You're gonna lose a
Sleep
lot
no
of
longer
sleep.
exists.
Oh my gosh. That was a good question. How do you respond to people that wait, that is not art, but because of the molds we use. Oh, okay. So they're saying so they're saying, how do you respond to people that say resin is not an art because sometimes we use molds? Um,
Mm.
that's a good
Who in the
question.
world? Lord
Because why would
mercy.
you say that?
Why would you even say that?
I mean, like, I think it comes back to like the principle that art is like subjective, like it can be anything. I
Yeah,
can put a paint stroke across the canvas and sell it because if to me that's art, then that's what I'm presenting. And
that's
some
your
people do
story.
that.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
true
yeah.
story.
Some people do that.
It's true. So I mean, it comes back to, I think, what Jay was saying, like having confidence in yourself and your work. Because that confidence shows. So if you are confident in what you're creating, it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say. That's your art.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Man, I cannot imagine who would even say that
I
resin is not.
know. I'm
I'm
like, who
trying to
says
literally wrap my head
that?
around that. I mean, because just to know
um,
what we have to do in order to get the canvases that we create, I
yes.
can't imagine somebody saying that that's not art. That's crazy to me.
Like as if like the piece just like makes itself, the right
Listen, I'm like,
pigments just
man, do you
kind
know
of
how
get added on
strategic they have
their
to
own.
be with everything? Man, it's a science. I really think I consider it like a science, really.
That's exactly how I described it, a scientific art.
It
And I
is.
am not good at science, so I don't know how this
I'm
is
not gonna
all
lie,
like.
I loved science in school. I really did love it.
Really?
I was a geek, yes.
Oh my gosh. No, I was not good at science. Math, I liked math and writing.
Ah, see, math was of the devil, and then they started putting numbers in it. It made no sense. No, no, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so what do you think of? I'm pretty sure you've heard this before. How, as a Black person, individual, I don't even know what to like say that's not going to be offensive, but as a Black individual,
Mm.
um, what do you think about like the idea that you have to work either double time or you have to go above and beyond to even compare to your counterparts or peers?
Mm, I mean, in general, I mean, it sucks. It's unfortunate. Um, and you try to think of ways to solve that type of issue
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, there's very few of us, and if there's others that are out there, please, for the love of God, add me so we can connect. If you're out there,
He's hilarious.
this is for you to come find me so we can link up, connect, okay? Because I've been trying to look, okay, um, and we're scarce, okay. Um, but
Valid, super valid.
but if we can possibly try to network with more of those that do this type of art, or even just art
Mm-hmm.
in general, but more so, this niche that we do specialize in, I feel like we can become more of a unit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then start to support each other more, share each other's things. Hey, I can't make this, but so and so can do this. Or hey,
exactly.
I don't really do very well with that type of stuff. I have this other person that can do it. Or hey, I'm
Yep.
fully booked. I know another artist who has openings in their commission roster for this month. Let me send you their information. And there's nothing wrong with doing that for other artists. But again, it comes down to finding you and knowing that you're there, that you're out there. You gotta let us know. Send a bat signal, something. But
Not a bad.
aside from that, it's the idea of it's not competition, but these are my sisters, these are my
Yes.
brothers. This is us. Like this is
Right.
us. Because in reality, let's be honest, they don't like us. They don't want us. They don't want to put us up here
Right.
because there's no way in hell, excuse my language, there's no way that they're gonna allow one of us to outshine them. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yep. That makes
So
perfect sense.
it's just going to come down to us having to be that front. to have to make that change. And I really honestly don't foresee them making any difference until we force them to make a difference. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a revolution, like the way you
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
talk.
Change my IG name.
Someone said we're out here trying.
Okay,
Trying,
hard too.
yes. You definitely see it a lot in online groups. Like what we do doesn't count. That's true.
Yeah.
I know for me, I've definitely experienced where like someone's reached out to me for a product and I had to, like, I felt like I was convincing them to buy. Like, and I feel
Right.
like I shouldn't do that. Like,
Okay.
oh, here are some things that I've done. Do you see how beautiful this is? Like, I shouldn't have to do
Do
that.
you see the
If you want
magic
to buy from me, you should buy
coming
from
off of
me.
this?
Do you see this?
I know
So
you
I
see it.
definitely can experience or say that I've experienced that. Definitely in online groups though. I
Yeah.
think, but most of my groups that I'm in are majority Black. Like most of the crafting groups and like
Mm-hmm.
basic art groups, I think are like, you know, they're geared toward us, like Black
Mm-hmm.
women creating or Black women in resin. Like, so it's like kind of like that. But there are a few, there definitely are a few, especially resin groups that are
Ugh,
not Black owned or not
you already know how I feel
catered.
about them groups, girl.
I
They
know,
be
because I know the one, and
they
I'm
be
trying not to say it,
pressing my nerves. They just be mm, you already know.
but like I'm not sure if you followed. It was on TikTok mostly, so that's kind of how I get my information. But Judge Ketanji Brown, like when they showed her like merits and like her achievements against like her peers, it was like the
Out the
difference
park.
in what she's done compared to everyone else was, it was just like drastic. And the fact that like
You have to
why
even
do you even need to see that to know that I'm
listen to
qualified? Like
validate.
exactly.
Like
Why?
why?
So I just
Why?
like I thought of that and I'm like, honestly, this kind of thing goes on in a bunch of fields, and I'm sure you probably even experienced that because you're kind of like in the corporate world too, because you have a
Mm-hmm.
full-time job. So I know
Yeah.
you've probably experienced that too, like in the corporate world where like maybe you can't get as easily promoted or get recognition
Oh
as like
yes.
peers. So it's just, I guess it comes with the territory, but
Yeah.
there should be some ways that we can kind of work around it, at least together.
Yeah.
um,
Definitely.
like she
Definitely.
said, if you're out there, come on,
Please find us.
find
Add
us.
us. Find me on Instagram at Dancing New York Studio. Go. Get your
Oh,
phone
this
out. Do it now.
Oh, that's a good point. She said all Black women aren't helpful as far as educating others.
Ooh, that's an
I
interesting
can see
topic.
some truth in that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think I have a weird, so I think for a lot, for I guess for now, like in terms of like this TikTok era that we're in, and like everything is just like quick, fast, like you have a 5 second video and you show things. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of expectations in terms of at least resin art of what I can see. There's an audience that expects to um, learn everything and be kind of handheld throughout that process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, when I started, I took courses. I was taking courses about
Yeah.
resin. I was watching all YouTube videos. I
Yeah.
was like stalking all the people that I loved. Like I did the work because I knew what I wanted to be. So I was doing the work. I was stalking people. I was doing it all. So I don't know if that's the same kind of like era we're in terms of resin art. If we still have those people that want to learn and are willing to kind of like take courses and do everything. Now, if you're like gatekeeping information, that's a little different. But
Yeah.
like at this point, I feel like there's no information that you shouldn't know about a resin geode because I think it's
Right.
all been put on
Yeah.
YouTube or whatever. But that statement, I don't know if that's entirely true, but I can see some truth in it where maybe someone's gatekeeping or,
Oh
keeping
yeah.
information to themselves.
I can definitely agree with that as well. It's very microwave. A lot of people want things instantly.
Yeah.
So they want to hit like 30 seconds and it's done. But
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, I'm 50-50 on that because there are some things
Right.
that okay, you're not going to tell me, then fine, I'm going to go, like, you're not going to, this door is closed, I'm not going to stop because of this, I'm going
Exactly.
to make sure I find out what I'm looking for.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are not like that. um Yeah, I don't know if it's just that they're not too sure how to really research certain things. But
That could
there's
be
tons
it.
of resources now versus whenever I first started also. Because I also took a course, and then from there it was also just kind of reading on things, looking up
Right.
YouTube, and kind of trial and error. Like I don't know how many cups have had flash cures and smoke coming out of them and looking like a science experiment. It was crazy.
Because literally,
Yeah,
literally, I
yeah,
still make mistakes. Like it's not even like it stopped. Like I'm still making mistakes. Like I,
yeah.
so it's just like I think that's the biggest thing too. What you said exactly. It's experimenting, and
Hmm.
some people are a little scared to experiment and to try
Yeah,
things and to mess up, and you're not gonna move any further or be able to learn things yourself if you're not going to try because we
right.
can't handhold through all your experiences, you know.
And I can admit, resin is not a cheap art form. I will say
Mhm.
that. I totally get it. It is very expensive.
Very.
It's not like literally, I don't know, painting, for example, which paint can get
Right,
expensive too if you use like oil paint or paint. You know what I mean?
right.
Higher quality, but nonetheless, resin is pretty expensive. So I mean, I get it. You don't want to have to want to try to, some people may not be able to invest, hundreds into something like that, and they really just want to make sure that what they're doing is accurate and correct. So I mean, I get you.
Yep, that's so true, man. I've always thought about that too. I'm like, is it like a different? I think like because I started right before the pandemic, and
Hmm.
like 2020, that's when I had like first
Yep.
tried a coaster. Like that was when I first started. So
Hmm.
before the pandemic, TikTok wasn't like as huge, and
Right. Right.
I was on YouTube all the time, so that's where I was kind of learning. But then, like during 2020 and 2021, when people actually started realizing, like, wait, people are making things, and like they're they're creating things right now, it was expected to just give that information in 15 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I kind of think like it's definitely a different society. I was
Hmm.
just talking to my husband about this. I was like, I feel like um, in terms of the like how you learn, like I don't think you have to learn a certain way to understand resin or like learn these techniques and stuff in resin art, but you
Yeah.
have to, what's the word, like you have to be knowledgeable in how you
Yeah.
learn. Like you have to want to obtain the knowledge, because if not, you're going to just kind of be stagnant and stuck.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you're going to just kind of be like, okay, well, I'm done. So you
Yeah.
have to want to learn.
Oh
If
yeah,
you don't have that
absolutely.
drive, it's just like at
For
this point,
sure.
yes,
Oh
girl.
yes. That is facts.
Facts. What else? Let's see.
I don't know if I really like this blend or not.
What do you have so far? What are you creating? Let me see.
Oh Lord. Well, I think I'm using the wrong type of brush. Again, right?
Oh, this whole
No.
time.
I have the brush that I want to use, but I don't know if I don't think I cleaned it well enough. Whether I need to. Like, I want
I've
people
been
to use
working
that.
on this painting for a long time. Like it's been weeks
Really?
because I have
Sure.
to make the time, uh,
Yeah.
and I've just been kind of like working on all the orders and stuff, and
Oh
painting
yes.
has kind of been on the back burner. So
Yeah. It's hard to squeeze in your own
I
visions.
know. Let's talk about that. Like
Ugh.
squeezing in your own freestyles and
Hard. It's hard. It's very hard to balance that for sure.
what do you think
'Cause
is the hardest thing about balancing it?
um, it's just people. I guess because people don't necessarily understand how resin works. I guess they think that it takes, and that's fine. I'm not a full time artist,
Hmm.
so I don't have the luxury of being able to wake up at 8 o'clock and from 8 to 10 I'm doing this commission.
Right,
From 10 to 12 I'm doing this, whatever, whatever. You know what I
right.
mean? I have to literally wake up, go to work, come home, make
Oh
dinner,
my
make sure
gosh.
everybody's good, then work on art. And then if I want to pull an all nighter and then be a zombie at work the next day, then do that. Or if not, set myself, okay, Jazz, you're only going to work until 1 o'clock tonight and that's it.
Mhm.
You got to squeeze it all in. You have, clients who are not understanding of, this might take,
Mhm.
it takes a little bit to make these pieces, and you have to wait for each layer to cure and to, harden and do what it's going to do its thing. So it is kind of hard to try to, put in your own creations whenever you can find the time to do that, because I don't want to make everybody wait forever. You know what I mean? On my account of trying to create something. So I'm trying to learn how to delegate. I'm trying to use the jazz calendar on this
Jazz
date of
calendar.
doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing, that's brilliant. The way that you thought of that, that is so smart. I love that idea.
I think like breaking it down into like days makes it feel less overwhelming.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
Heck
oh,
yeah.
okay, I don't have to like do everything in one night, because if we're not
Yes.
Jay doing this whole commission and like she'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay up. She's like, I've been since like whatever time, and I'm like, how are you functioning? That
I'm
is
not.
crazy. How are you living?
I'm not barely on a thread.
It lit up and then it went away. He's trying to make sure my charger is in here.
Mhm.
It's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? That's me. Oh, it looks dim still. I just want to make sure it's not gonna like
I think I got it.
shut off. Don't be sad.
Oh, yeah,
No,
girl,
it's
I had to
not.
get my chargers and everything too.
Hi. Thank you for joining. It's not no it's not.
It's locked up.
It's tricking us. It's tricking us. What else did I have? Oh, so do you think, yeah, now it's yay, now we're good. I see it. I was like, I see it. Do you think there should be a like some sort of restriction, or what's, I guess restrictions the best word, a restriction on certain molds or pieces? I think we chatted about this before, for
Oh,
other races, I guess I should say. Like we chatted about this before, like Afro puffs or an afro, or like, I wouldn't say locks because I feel like locks is like,
mm-hmm.
but do you think there should be a restriction on other races using those as selling pieces, like us selling their work?
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, it's like you're profiting off our culture. Like you don't. No, just it's a no.
No.
It's a no.
Simply
just,
put,
just
it's
no.
a no.
Just no. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
No,
Please
just
don't.
don't.
Um,
If,
and
if you have to literally sit there and question, like, I wonder if this is
yes.
somebody. Yes. So the answer is yes. So then don't do it. That's
So
the easiest,
just like
easiest way I know how to think of that.
that was, she said that, right? So in what, it was a resin group we're in. I think there are a lot of resin groups out there on Facebook, but there's like a really big one that we're in. And the way she posted it and was like her piece, it was like an Afro girl, and she posted it and was like I'm just trying to make sure. She posted it as if saying like, I'm just trying to make sure this is not offending anyone if I'm selling this. And the amount of like, there were honestly more people like, oh no, it's art, like you got it, it's cool. Like there were more people like that than there were of us that were like, this is not okay. Like,
girl, no.
and you, like, I feel like for the most part we were very respectful.
Oh yeah.
Like there wasn't anyone like, oh my god, no girl, like don't do it. But
Calling her
we
out
were
her
very
name.
respectful
No.
about it. Because I just think that, like she said, there's just too much behind those molds. Like there's too much history behind like our natural hair, the way it grows out of our head, for it to be.
Her. I was like, girl, just only recently were people able to wear their natural hair in corporate America. What are you talking about? No.
What is this?
Absolutely not. No. Yeah, that was a no. So remember, if you have to think, no, just don't do it.
No.
Just don't.
I think it was Black History Month too, so I was like a double no.
It was. We were like,
hold on.
Okay.
It did not.
That is so true. It was. It
was definitely. I don't know. Like I understand the argument that okay, it's art, and like we said, it's subjective, but there's a line. Like,
yeah,
absolutely. I just feel like there's a line of respect when it comes to that kind of thing. And like you said, for her to ask if it was okay, That means
There's
you
your
know
answer.
it was not okay. You
That's your
knew.
answer. It's no.
It's just no.
It's just no. It's a no
I'm
for
laughing now,
me.
but I was definitely pissed like when it happened. I was a little mad. Like,
Girl,
why?
yes. And then like random people, other people that like I guess I kind of know them. I haven't met them in person, but you already know who I'm
You
talking
kind of
about.
know them.
Mm.
I know.
You already know who I am
I
referencing.
know.
But that was
I mean,
interesting.
honestly, like some people, I think that's what it comes down to. People look from the outside in and they see money. Like they see resin art
Yep.
as money. So
Yeah.
like, oh, I can make this, make money easy. So it's hard to associate like meaning and like passion with it. So they're like, I'm just going to create whatever mold I see is popular. And
Right.
yes, that is a popular mold, but there's
However,
also meaning behind it. So,
little asterisks.
right, but check the
However,
footnotes. However, it's so funny. You said
however,
just no.
just no. Yeah.
At the
So
time, I was like upset. I was kind of upset about it. I'm like,
yeah,
that's weird.
that was an interesting one on that one for sure.
And I'm
For
so glad that the admins, because you know the admins have the ability in those groups to keep a post up, to take
hmm
the comments off or turn them
Oh
off,
yeah.
and she kept it up. And I was so like happy that she kept it up because I feel like people needed to read
Yeah.
those
And
comments.
be
Like
made
we had some long
aware.
comments on there.
Oh yeah. Um, of course, like you said, there were comments that I was expecting anyways.
Right.
The ones that just irked my
Get it.
soul
Right.
completely. But there were also some that were, willing to accept that learning moment
Yes.
of, oh, I didn't know that, or
I
oh,
love
okay.
that.
Love people like that.
Yep.
Love people who are willing to have an open mind and actually listen, slow down, stop and listen and learn something. You know what I mean? Versus just keeping, you
That
know,
wall up.
yeah, just being closed minded about things. So there were some that passed the vibe check.
Because that was a vibe. That whole post was like
That
I was
whole
reading
post,
comments. I was proud of some comments, and then some I was just like,
honey, I've never
oh
blocked so
my
many
gosh.
I like so quick. It's like, nope.
So I was ready to comment. I was typing so fast.
And then cannot post. Dang it. Turn off
Goodness.
comments.
Don't turn me off. Don't block
Don't
me.
turn it off yet.
Yeah, we have like I feel like we both have like certain social media platforms that we
Mhm.
do really well in. And then
Yeah.
there are certain ones that we don't. Like I cannot for the life of me get Instagram together. It is just it
And
does
that's
not
my
like me. I
thing.
don't like it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. But TikTok I can do.
Cannot the TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. I am the first
TikTok.
to admit that I am completely lost. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You're lying. I've seen transitions. I've seen
No, but I don't know what it is about TikTok. I can't get with it. I don't know what it is.
I
Instagram
feel like
was my
if you've
thing.
mastered Instagram, like Instagram is like the mom to TikTok. Like Instagram, what is it? Instagram walks, so TikTok could run. Like they're hand in hand. So if you have Instagram down, like you're like invincible.
It's
You
like
can
the
do TikTok.
mother of all the social medias.
Literally.
And I've mastered it, but somehow cannot master anything else.
No. Well, Facebook, I feel like it's an excuse.
Ugh, Facebook. I have a thing with Facebook right now. I'm not happy with Facebook.
I
Right
know, I know.
now.
I
I hate
think I
Facebook.
don't know. I can't get my engagement on my business page, but like my
Yeah,
personal
personal
page.
page. Yeah, it's definitely oof. Yeah,
That's a hard
I'll
one.
leave it at that.
I'm off to bed, but great information, ladies. Same for me. Still learning how to use these platforms. And then we have, oh, this is AJ. Hey, what is the topic for tonight? We were talking about a Black woman in resin art. So actually, we were talking about your mold too, because she makes these beautiful like mirrors from those Afro molds.
Oh yes.
And she has a really great like numbers on TikTok too. So we were talking about that mold just a second ago about
Yeah.
there was a white resin artist that asked if it was okay for her to create and sell those pieces. So we were talking about our responses and how we didn't think that was okay. It's just a no.
No.
It's just no. um, it's just no. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just don't. Just don't.
Do you think it's more difficult for you to kind of gain traction on these social media platforms because you're a Black resin artist? Like, do you think it would have been easier if you weren't? Like, do you think it's more than just, you know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of companies that kind of play a factor into like reposting your work and everything like that. But do you think like that's one of the main reasons why it's difficult, or do you have some other ideas?
Sometimes, yes, I do. And as bad as it sounds, like sometimes that's why I didn't even want to show my face per se, like on my pages.
Yep.
It's just to kind of like confirm that, like, let me confirm if this is why I'm not doing that.
Right.
But eventually, at some point, with all social media, you always want to try to put a face to the brand. I mean,
Right.
that's how business is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, at least for what I'm doing. And for the type of route that I'm going on with my brand and my business, I want to be a face. I want you to know, hey, this is the artist behind it. This is the person that does it all. But yeah, I definitely think because I'm not, blonde and tiny and the typical, aesthetic of social media is why you guys kind of don't really. And it's not so much to just be featured on your stuff. That's not even what the main goal of it is. That's not what it is for me.
Right.
But even if it's for somebody else that looks like me, similar to me, I'm cheering for them too. Heck, repost them, post them on your stuff. Like, I just want to be able to see us somewhere. And I feel like a lot of these companies don't do that. And you already know I've been on a never-ending hunt to try to find, resin companies.
That resin company, the resin company.
You know what I mean?
You still have to try Peace Be Resin.
Yes,
I told you about that one. So
once you go ahead and order some of that for sure.
Oh, we have a question. Jay, how did you come up with the name for your art studio? Does it have a meaning? It's a good question.
Oh, good question. Yes, so Vancini is actually my grandma's maiden name. And my grandma is the whole, God, I hope I don't get teared up, but my grandma is the whole reason behind this, of what I do. My grandma was she allowed me to be very fluid as a child. So she herself was an artist, and she would do poetry, she would do acting, she would do drawing, she would do all kinds of stuff like that, which I have some of her stuff with me. She's no longer with us. So I just knew that I wanted to do something in honor of her, in hopes that she's looking down and is proud that I'm still honing into what it was that she instilled in me. So of course,
I love that.
Naturally, I wanted to honor her memory and try not to get teared up. But that's where Vancini Art Studio comes from. It's all from my grandma.
You better not. I was gonna say you better not be crying, but that's okay.
I'm trying not to, but it's
that's so sweet. That was Rhonda who asked the question. She said that was a beautiful tribute to her.
Thank you. I hope she's proud. That's all I want, is just for her to look down and be proud.
I know she's proud.
Thank you.
And let's see. Oh, so AJ responded about the Afro molds and said, it's a no for me as well. They have other molds, like they have a Caucasian female mold that they could buy and use. They do.
Okay. It's a no.
It's a no all around.
No.
I mean, like, if you want to make it and keep it, cool. But I feel like when you add making a profit off of it, then it's weird. It's weird. It's super weird.
It's weird to me. Like, it's just no.
It's
No.
And I'm going to kind of wrap up by letting Jay tell you all her socials that you can find her on. And I'll try to actually, let me see if I can do that now. I can probably post like a comment so I can pin it so everyone can follow you.
Okay.
But go ahead, let them know where they can find you, all your info.
You guys can definitely find me on Instagram. Just the name of my business, it's at Vancini Art Studio, all one word. You guys can also find me on Facebook. I have my business page on that. And then also YouTube, believe it or not, I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to get back into that, I promise.
No comment.
I promise.
I told you.
But you can find me on there also. That will definitely be making a comeback this summer. So yeah. Oh, and TikTok. I'm gonna try my best to get on TikTok. That's like Jasmine's like
I
territory
need her to
there.
get on there. And I'm like, I'm going to keep tagging you and I'm going to keep on
Oh
like
my gosh.
making you get
I'm
on
not
there.
good at TikTok. I'm not good at it.
TikTok,
But
I feel like it's like one off. Like you have to get that one video that just kind of blows up
yeah.
and then it just all
Yep.
kind of follows
And you
suit.
are good.
But I want to thank everyone for coming and babbling with us.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay, for joining me. I know I had to make you, but I'm glad you did it. You did so well.
I need to stop being camera shy. That's what it is. I'm
See?
shy.
Once you get that first one out, you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't so
Oh.
bad.
I didn't burn the house down. Okay.
And then I will be live again in 2 weeks. I'll give the date because I cannot think. I think that is the 22nd. We'll see. But thank you for joining, and I hope you guys had fun. And follow her on all her socials.
Yes. Also, Jasmine, follow her too, which I know I'm sure that's where you guys come from, but follow her too.
But
And if
follow.
you're out there, if you're a Black artist, resin artist, follow us.
Find us.
Please.
But thank you guys so much and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.